Is it just me, or does Rinwell suddenly seem much more comfortable around Dohalim than she used to?
I noticed that too. When the two of them came and found me together back on the beach, I could hardly believe my eyes.
It's not like we had a choice or anything. Law and Kisara had to hang back to convince the villagers we meant them no harm. More than that, though, there are a lot of things I've still got to come to terms with regarding Almadria. But I guess I'm through making snap judgments based on someone's origin. At least, I'm trying to be. I guess you could say it's a work in progress.
I see. You hear that, Law? Sounds like all that hard effort wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
That's got to be reassuring to hear, right, Dohalim?
Not being subjected to unwarranted suspicion is certainly welcome.
Yeah, that long-winded way you have of talking, though? Not so much a fan of that.
I think that's more of a personality thing than a Renin trait.
Really? In that case, I won't have to feel guilty getting annoyed by it.
With fauna like that, I'm impressed so many people from Thistle made it through here alive.
Who's to say there weren't a whole lot more of them who didn't?
Well, at any rate, it should be a safer climb now that we've cleared the way a bit, right?
No. So long as people feel the need to face terrain this perilous, I'd say true safety's some way off.
You mean defeating Volron and putting an end to the crown contest, right? I guess that would be the best solution here, huh?
How are we still not there yet? It feels like we've been climbing this mountain forever.
It helps if you try not to look up or down. All you need is silent determination. Talking too much will only waste energy and burn you out.
I'm too tired to look up or down, even if I wanted to.
Take care you don't fall, at least. Unless you want to make a Zoogel's day, that is.
Zoogles? Why would they care if I fell or not?
How would you feel if a 3-course meal fell right out of the sky at your feet?
Zoogle chow.
Law? Best not to listen to him if you can help it. You'll only be encouraging him if you do.
Tell me that before I listen next time.
Still, Dohalim has a point. One wrong step and it's curtains.
Wouldn't it be great if we could all fly like Hootle? I bet even the refugees who didn't make it would have made it to Thistleum that way.
Until we magically sprout wings, let's just watch where we're stepping instead, okay? Come on. Shion's waiting for us.
We did it. We've reached the top of the mountain.
About damn time. My knees are singing symphonies over here.
Look, there it is!
That's it. That's Pelegion, the seat of Volron's power.
So that's where Shion's being held?
Most likely.
Most likely.
That is what I said, yes.
Pelegion's still our best lead, so that's where we go, right?
Any advice before we head in there?
No.
No?
In the ancient tongue, Ganath Haros means Fortress of Naught, though I fail to see what insight that nugget of trivia holds.
I guess I just thought you might have something we could use.
Since Volron became Lord, the only thing this realm has been known for is its shroud of secrecy. It is Volron's stronghold. All else is incidental. Just keep in mind that you can't be too careful inside.
Speaking of which, just how are all of us planning to get inside exactly?
It's not like there are any secret passages.
We've come this far. If there's no other way in, I guess we'll just have to use the front gate. Volron told us to come find him, which means he's expecting us. Let's do this the old-fashioned way.
I sure hope nothing bad's happened to Shion.
Keep those thoughts to yourself, Rinwell. Everyone's anxious enough as it is.
Sorry, it's just... I can't seem to stop thinking about it. What do you think it is that Volron wanted with her anyway?
Going by what he said back on Almadria's ship, it would appear his primary target is Alphen. Though, it's likely he hasn't forgotten the blow he sustained at Shion's hand either. That might even be what ignited his interest.
Yeah, did you see the way he reacted? It was like he was enjoying every moment. Even his pain at Shion's thorns. Oh, that guy's just creepy.
Let's just hope he's keeping his perverted tendencies in check.
What? Law? Don't say things like that!
It's not like we weren't all thinking it.
That's still no reason to...
All right, you two. Now that's enough already. Alphen shouldn't have to grit his teeth while he listens to you.
Oh.
Sorry.
You're still awake?
I've always been something of a night owl. Ever since back when I was someone's property. Turning in for the night only made the next day come quicker. I wasn't in any great rush.
Sorry.
What about yourself? Care to share something from before I knew you? You were part of a mage clan, right? Must have been handy being able to rely on magic for everything.
Hardly. In fact, not at all. Magic's not so special when you're not allowed to use it. Always scared of who might be watching?
Right. Sorry about that. I guess I've read too many fairy tales.
We were still made to study it every day. It doesn't make any sense if you think about it, studying the very thing you're being persecuted for. But that's what we did, just like our parents and their parents before them. Honestly, I don't even know how far back it goes.
If memory serves, mages have been the stuff of legend for ages. Even as far back as 3 centuries ago, they were myths. Your people were persecuted even before the Renans got here.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the less it makes sense, though. I mean, it was astral arts that let the Renans dominate Dana, right? Why didn't mages end up being the rulers of Dana, then?
Maybe they tried, but they just didn't have the numbers. Or maybe domination just wasn't something they were interested in. Have you ever considered it might have been something like that?
I guess I haven't.
I wonder why magic alone attracted the attention it did. Swords can be just as lethal in the right hands. Why not ban them?
My best guess? Swordsmanship can be learned by anyone. Magic's more of an exclusive club.
So, you either have the gift or you don't. When something's not easily obtainable, it's hard to comprehend. People are scared of what they don't understand. And fear leads to persecution. So the problem's not magic. It could just as easily have been anything.
Yeah.
So, any ideas what the deal was with that boatload of weirdos?
Your guess is as good as mine. They looked like Danan slaves, but beyond that...
This city is grander and more beautiful than any other we've been to, yet...
I know what you mean. From the architecture right down to the people, something feels off somehow.
I've long maintained one can glean a lot about a ruler from their city. Considering how unsettling this place is, I'd say I wasn't far off the mark. Despite its surface layer of majesty, walking around inside, it feels more like a hollowed-out ruin.
I say we follow after that boat. If we're lucky, they might be in the mood to give us some answers.
All of those people in the boats. Do you think they had any idea what was going to happen to them?
They did a damn good job of concealing it if they did. You ask me, the only thing on their mind was following orders.
And I bet I can guess who from. Volron.
The only thing they knew was mindless oppression right to the very end. What kind of purpose is that? Living only to die at your master's whim?
Being a slave means having your whole life stolen from you. In the worst cases, quite literally. That bastard will get what's coming to him. I'll see to it he does.
Still, if it's not fruits of Helgen he's using, then how do you think Volron goes about controlling all of them?
They didn't look like they'd been threatened, but they didn't look like they understood anything either.
It could be something else, like a potion perhaps. But frankly, I doubt it.
But that would mean they're following Volron out of choice? But why?
Nothing bolsters a despot's authority more than loyalty. Loyalty is advantageous for any ruler. For Volron, it means acolytes willing to give their lives for him. As for whether they did it willingly or not, I'd say they're merely puppets dancing to their master's tune.
But to the point where they'd give up their own life force? Is that even possible?
You just saw it for yourself. And think back to when I was your lord. If I'd asked you to sacrifice yourself for some cause, would you have?
Dohalim.
My apologies. My words got away from me again.
No, you're absolutely right. The only difference being that you never demanded such a thing. You wouldn't.
All lords are masters in the art of manipulating their subjects' hearts. Whether they use fear, torture, or various other methods, the outcome is the same.
Fear.
No wonder there's no remaining signs of a resistance force in this place.
Hey, Alphen?
What is it?
While I was away, what did you do?
I missed you.
Alphen. But after what happened because of me,
I got a glimpse of the real you. It was worth it. You could say the pain is some kind of reward.
some reward. You sure all that hurt hasn't done something to your head, too?
Hey now.
Is it just me, or are they...
It's been a while. They're just happy to see each other.
I know. I mean, it's fine.
We all express ourselves in different ways. Leave them be.
They should get a room.
So, the Sovereign, the Renis Alma, the fate of Lenegis 300 years ago? Yes. That is a lot to take in, isn't it? I never realized the weight of the burden you were carrying.
I could say the same.
The person you kept mistaking me for. It was Naori, wasn't it? So, what do you think? Could I be her descendant?
It seems likely. You two do look very similar.
Kidnapping Xion, mistreating slaves, and who knows what other terrible deeds. Seriously? These so-called lords just think they can do whatever they like.
I am deeply ashamed to be one of their kind.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean you, Dohalim.
Do you think Volron could have been behind what just happened with Xion's thorns?
I'm not sure. If it was bait he needed, kidnapping her should have sufficed. Perhaps he had some other purpose in mind.
Her thorns aside, as a hostage, surely it would have made more sense to keep her close at hand. So why did he leave her unguarded?
If getting rid of Alphen was Volron's only priority, then he could have ambushed us directly. It's not as if he lacks the power. He chose not to, which means he's toying with us, prolonging Alphen's suffering as much as he can.
But why? What does Volron specifically have against Alphen? Is it because he's leading the Danon rebellion?
Possibly. But try to see it from Volron's perspective. He'd do anything to win the crown contest, correct? Knowing that the true sovereign already exists somewhere is bound to ruffle his feathers. Have your paths crossed before, Alphen?
Only when I've been with you guys.
In the end, we just find more mysteries.
What isn't a mystery is how badly we're gonna beat this creep up once we find him.
What a simple and straightforward person you are, Law.
Way to give us a heart attack. I wasn't sure how that was gonna pan out for a while there.
I'm just glad everyone's safe. Really glad.
What about you, Xion? How are you feeling? He didn't do anything to you, did he?
The last thing I remember is being back on the ship. Back then. Seeing Alphen's pain return to him the moment he touched me. It brought me back to my childhood. The fear in people's eyes whenever they were around me. And the next thing I knew, darkness was welling up inside me. It was smothering me. I couldn't see anything anymore. I was all alone.
Shion.
You're okay now. You're safe, Shion. We're here with you. You're not alone any longer.
Thank you.
A grandiose castle for a grandiose city. He really didn't cut any corners.
They're certainly akin to each other. And yet, I'd say the castle seems even more reflective of its owner's personality.
In what way?
It feels overbearing, tyrannical almost, but more than anything, merciless. As if any pretense to ease of living was sacrificed in favor of sending a message. One of domination, and a thirst for total power. In other words, the perfect domicile for our power-crazed foe.
That's why he let us in. It's precisely the message he wanted to convey. Almost like he's mocking us.
That bastard's in the mood to play? We'll see who's laughing once we've taken him down a peg or two. Is it just me, or is the blazing sword burning even more brightly than before?
Yeah, as if the astral energy within it has become more powerful somehow.
It would appear Alphen has learned to harness his sovereign abilities to even greater effect.
Is that true, Alphen?
I'm not sure. I don't think I'm doing anything differently.
You're not. It's proof of your strengthened bond with Shion. No further explanations needed.
Oh man, for real? Nice!
Is that true?
How am I supposed to know?
Fat lot of good the two of you are.
I may have a theory or two I could offer.
Yeah, no. I think we're good.
Now that you mention it, though, I guess I have noticed a change. It's like there isn't as much resistance when energy's being siphoned from my master core.
Aha! So it is a bond thing! Aw, you guys!
Wait, what about your hand? That thing practically used to give you third-degree burns every time you wielded it, right?
Kisara's got a point. And if it's gotten even hotter since then...
I won't lie. The searing heat and pain are almost unbearable. Almost. When I'm fighting, I'm somehow able to endure it. It's like the sword becomes part of me or something. Like I can feel it pulsing through my chest. I can't describe it.
In other words, your heart burns with a flame more powerful than even that of the sword. Fascinating.
Yeah, take it from our resident poet laureate. So where is he?
There's no sign of him here, so I can only assume he's waiting for us in his throne room.
What's with all the fake suspense? Why doesn't he just come out and face us?
I'll say. It's not like he's had any problem doing that in the past.
This is all one big game to him. He's probably savoring every last moment.
Like a Zoogle toying with its food before the kill. No wonder he doesn't have any friends.
This is all just a ploy to weaken his prey, wearing us down before the final ambush. It's all too well orchestrated to be anything else.
Alvin?
I'm fine. Once we defeat Volron, the final Master Core will be ours. With that, we can create the Renis Alma and finally put an end to this whole nightmare.
Hey, Kisara? Have you noticed how Shion...
Seems to be grappling with something all by herself?
Yeah, she's been acting differently around us ever since we rescued her. The same towards Alphen, too. Now that Alphen's regained his memories and his sense of pain, maybe she's become more self-conscious that she still has her thorns. In which case, it makes sense that she'd be feeling out of sorts. But I can't help but think there's something else, too.
You're wondering if there's anything you can do to help her.
Shion said something to me once. Something that helped me move forward. So I'd like to return the favor and do that for her too. The only problem is, even if I did have the chance to talk to her, I don't know what I could say that would help.
Shion's dealing with a lot right now. Maybe more than she can handle. Trying to unravel the threads of her own worries, that's challenge enough itself. Not to mention that trying to wade in blindly would probably end up making things even worse than they already are.
But how do we help her then?
For the time being, I think all we can do is be patient and keep an eye on her. That way, when she's finally ready to let us in, we'll be right there to lend her a shoulder.
I hope you're right.
Do you mind if we chat a bit?
Now there's something I never thought I'd hear you say.
Remember when we talked about what it was like for me growing up? Well, I thought it only fair that I also get to ask what you were like as a child.
My childhood? Maybe you missed the memo that was going around, but I can't remember anything of my past.
I know. Just whatever you can remember. There's gotta be something, right?
Let me think. Well, have I ever told you about my army days? Back when I used to serve under a Danon master?
Yeah, but that must have been after you were already grown up, right? Do you happen to remember anything from back when you were younger?
Actually, I remember I had a kid with me.
You had a kid?
No, of course not. The child's father was another soldier. Back in those days, we risked our lives for a master we'd never even seen. We just fought for them and didn't even question it. When that kid's dad died and I saw them sitting there crying, I felt this bitter, indescribable feeling. It was like I was drinking something toxic that I knew I shouldn't, but couldn't stop. It was strange. I never understood why I reacted like that. Soldiers died every day. It wasn't anything new.
What it tells me is that deep down, you were the same man then as you are now. You've never been able to accept injustice in the world.
If you keep talking like that, you're going to embarrass me. I wonder whatever happened to that master and poor kid. Not that there's any way of knowing now. You know, I just remembered that kid was good at sewing dolls. They gave me one once. As a good luck charm to protect me.
Dolls?
So if Volron is the Lord of the Water Realm, then it's probably safe to say he has some water abilities tucked up his sleeve.
He and Alphen couldn't be any more different. It's like they were practically born to be rivals.
Looking back on it, in both of our previous encounters, he's only ever fought us with his sword. We haven't seen what else he's capable of.
And yet, even with only his blade, he still managed to overwhelm us. He's a force to be reckoned with. That much is certain.
Yeah, that guy is seriously bad news.
It'll be okay, Hootle. We'll get through this.
Shion?
It's nothing. Let's keep moving.